Hey everybody, welcome back to Movies You Missed podcast. We are here with episode 172. We are going to be dropping a remastered episode of episode 41. This is V's pick. This is our 2022 recap episode, which we absolutely love doing here at Movies You Missed podcast. We love recapping every year of movies that we have been running here at Movies You Missed. And the year 2022 was a hell of a year. So sit back and relax and get ready to relive some movies that you might have forgotten about. And I'm going to tell you right now, I forgot about some too.
Me too.
I know, there were so many movies that year.
It was a really great movie year, that's for sure.
And I'm kind of feeling like we're looking at another one of those with the year 2025.
That's actually one of the reasons I picked it, or why it came up for me when picking our remastered episodes, is because the year 2025 is feeling like 2022 with the excitement, with these amazing action movies, these tentpole movies, and also some wonderful horror and mid-range budgeted movies in between. There's a great mix this year. I'm really excited for our recap episode of 2025. I know we did our very first mid-year review recap episode a couple weeks ago, and please tune in for that if you haven't listened to that episode already. But yes, I just thought it would be a great reminder for all of us of some amazing movies in 2022. If you're thinking this summer of movies you need to watch or looking for a movie to watch, I thought this episode would be a good reminder for everyone.
And what a great idea that was. Can't wait to drop this on everybody, especially our new listeners. So if you are brand new here to Movies You Missed podcast, this is not our usual run of things. We are just dropping some remastered episodes over the last few weeks. Well, we took a little bit of a hiatus, but we will be back next week with a brand new episode, and we will tell you what movies we will be discussing shortly. But before we do all of that, we love to discuss the movies that we've seen in theaters or on streaming over the last week. And V, I'm curious if you've seen anything new this week on streaming or in theaters.
I unfortunately haven't. I was down sick and really didn't have the mental capacity to watch a new movie and definitely couldn't make it to the theater. But I am really excited to sit back and listen to your rundown of all the movies you've seen over the last week, because I know you've seen a good handful.
I saw a handful indeed. I'm looking forward to dropping these on everybody, including yourself.
All right, let's get to it.
All right. Now, what I usually like to do is start with the movie that I liked the least. I don't have one of those this week.
Yay!
I saw 5 movies over this last week, 4 of which were on streaming, 1 was in theaters. So I'll start with the streaming movies first. I will start with the one that I watched last. So I'm going to kind of go in a weird order. But anyway, this film that I watched, I had never heard of before, but it stars Nick Kroll and Andrew Rannells and Amanda Seyfried. Amanda Seyfried has a very small part. But this movie is a dark comedy called I Don't Understand You.
I saw the trailer for this movie and it looked wild.
Oh, you did see the trailer. Okay, cool. I'm curious how many other people have seen the trailer. I had a fucking blast with it. I thought it was great. It really made me laugh often, and it just is one of those twisted-ass dark movies where you're like, what the fuck, the whole time.
Do you think I'd enjoy it?
Oh, I think you would have a great time with it.
Fantastic. Okay, tell me more.
This movie, I Don't Understand You, is about a gay couple that goes on an Italian vacation, and they're also in the process of trying to adopt a baby, and one thing leads to another where everything leads to complete and utter travesty. So it's, like I said, very dark comedy, very enjoyable. I rented it on Amazon, completely worth the money.
Awesome.
This next film I watched because a buddy of mine told me that he enjoyed it, and I only ever saw the posters for it. I never saw a trailer for it in the theaters. This movie stars Ayo Edebiri. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. If you don't know her by name, she is in The Bear. She's the young lady that's...
that's helping him out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This film also stars Juliette Lewis and John Malkovich. This film is called Opus.
Haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it really flew under the radar. This movie is about a young journalist who ends up getting invited out to a very well-respected pop star's compound, and things get fucking weird.
That sounds right up your alley.
Yeah, exactly. So similar to I Don't Understand You, it's a very dark film, and it's a little bit predictable, but I gave it a 4.2 because the performances were great, and John Malkovich was hysterical.
Awesome. Great. Okay. Good to see him in a movie again.
Yeah, it was great. Definitely recommend. Next film I watched was a much-anticipated sequel by, it seems, the entire world, because the classic from 1996 starring Adam Sandler and Carl Weathers was such a fantastic film. I'm talking now, of course, about Happy Gilmore 2.
I just read an article about how massive that opening on Netflix was this weekend.
Oh, I can only imagine. Happy Gilmore 2, enjoyable. Nothing great, but there are some cameos that were fantastic and some that were kind of stupid once I found out who some of the cameos were. But overall, I give the movie a very high B-. Definitely fan service. Adam Sandler was great, and so was everybody else involved in the movie.
Okay.
Next film I saw was another movie on streaming. This one, V, you watched a few weeks ago, and I said that I would watch it.
Finally!
Which I finally got a chance to. Yes. This is Idris Elba and John Cena in Heads of State.
Oh, I hope you liked it.
Oh, I had a complete blast. It was so much fun.
Isn't that
Yeah,
great?
it went. I didn't even see a trailer, but I remember just flipping through Amazon and seeing just the poster, basically, of them in the plane holding on for dear life. And I didn't know where this movie was going to go from the beginning, and it really just completely surprised me. There were some great moments. I loved Priyanka Jonas as well. I thought she was great. She's so gorgeous as well. Can't go wrong with her, especially in Baywatch. But yeah, Heads of State was a lot of fun, really enjoyable. My parents even liked it.
Yeah, it's a great action comedy, and again, I just loved their chemistry between John Cena and Idris Elba. Who the hell thought they would work together so well?
I know, it was so awesome. I think one of my favorite lines was when Idris Elba tells John Cena's character, you actually do look cool with a gun, and he just has this stupid fucking smirk on his face. So great. John Cena's awesome. I don't know how anybody can't like the guy.
I love him so much. He really just goes for it, and I've heard wonderful things about him on set, that he's just up for anything and always really dedicated to being better as an actor, so I can't fault him.
That's great.
He's great.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
Oh, so glad to hear you enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, it was a great time. Absolutely would watch it again.
Yeah, same. And I know what you watched in theater, so I'm really excited to hear this next one too.
Yes, and our listeners would know, if you follow our Instagram, I made a reel for this one. This is a very rare case in live action adaptations from the original animated movie. I went to go see How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes.
Yes. This movie, absolutely incredible. If this were an original movie and not based on an animated movie, I still would love it as equally as I do. I love the animated one. I have the 4K Steelbook. I completely fell in love with this live action. I loved seeing Gerard Butler. Stoic Nick Frost in this movie was great. The cast was awesome. Soundtrack's incredible. Beautifully shot, and good lord, the CGI on some of these dragons, it's literally like you could reach out and touch them. Like, absolutely incredible. And the writer and director of the live action wrote and directed the animated version, so nobody did anything to tamper with the movie. And I laughed, I cried, I cheered. I absolutely loved it. How to Train Your Dragon, one of the best animated adaptations into live action I've ever seen.
That's fantastic. And see, that's what's so important. Just like with the Old Guard 2 that I talked about last week being so mediocre because they had a new writer and new director. They had lost all the spark. That is probably what made How to Train Your Dragon, the live adaptation, so good. Oh, I'm so glad you noticed that and called that out. So important.
It really is. And I sat through the whole credits and I pulled up IMDb halfway through and I'm like, oh, thank God it wasn't just some other guy at DreamWorks or Universal or something. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. I've never seen Gerard Butler have so much fun on screen. I don't think since 300.
Awesome.
It was great. Yeah, absolutely. And it's for everybody too. It's intense, but I think kids would really enjoy it.
No, I really want to go see it. I've been itching to go see it in theaters for the last couple of weeks since it's been out. And now that you've seen the live action, and we've never talked about How to Train Your Dragon, I love the score to the original movie, but I know you know that I love this actor. Jay Baruchel is great. I loved him in She's Out of My League. He's a great actor. He's adorable, but I didn't think his voice was the right voice for the original.
Oh, see, I thought he was great for Hiccup. I totally thought it was awesome.
It totally took me out of the movie the whole time he talked.
Really?
I've never told you this. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's surprising.
Yeah, and so that's actually the thing that's excited me the most about the live action adaptation is that it has a different voice for Hiccup, and I'm really excited to see if I like it more, which is, I know, completely blasphemous for everybody who's loved that original movie for the last 15 years. I apologize.
No, it's crazy because like when it ended, I was like, do I like this more than the animated version?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think that's a problem because it's the same writer-director.
Yeah.
It's the same movie. It is an extra half hour long, and it just moves along so fast and moves along so well. And it's so
excited.
impressive. Just the village that they actually brought to life where Hiccup lives with. It was so damn good. I was just completely blown away. And there were people in the theater. I went to an 11:30 a.m. showing on a Monday, and there was a whole bunch of families in there, and everybody seemed to have a great time.
Good. Oh,
yes, so see How to Train Your Dragon in theaters to support it. I wish I would have gone 4DX, but I'm glad I got to see it in theaters either way.
That could be a good ride at like Universal or somewhere.
Oh, hell yeah. Definitely. Riding Toothless, that would be
like the Avatar ride.
Yes. That would be awesome.
Well, great. I'm so glad that you had a wonderful time at the movies this week watching all of them.
Yeah.
And you certainly, that might be another reason why I didn't watch any new movies this week. I needed a break after the string of misses that I've had over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I needed to reset.
Had a good amount of them.
Yeah. And start fresh and hopefully watch some movies I enjoy. And I'll be right back with it next week. For our brand new episode, we are back to recording next week, back to releasing new episodes with new movie picks for all of you listening in. Thank you so much for your patience and understanding as we took our very first break ever on this podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed some of our remastered episodes and some of the reminders of movies that we've covered previously. It was certainly wonderfully fun for both of us to go through our back catalog and choose which episodes we thought you might enjoy. So we hope you had as much fun as we did and are now as excited as we are to get back to recording and back to business, as it were, here at Movies You Miss Podcast. And
hell yeah.
To celebrate our return and to also recognize what we continue to recognize on this podcast, which is we need to do more rom-coms here.
Yes, we do.
The movies next week that we picked are, in fact, rom-coms.
Yay, rom-coms.
Yeah. So, John, do you want to tell everybody what movie you chose for our return?
Oh, absolutely. This is one of my favorite films about relationships, about friendship, about just life in general. I chose a film from 2009 starring the fantastic Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Zooey Deschanel, Chloe Grace Moritz, Jeffrey Arend, Matthew Gary Gubler, and so many other people. This is Mark Webb's 500 Days of Summer. And if you have never seen this movie, watch it. It is streaming on Hulu to follow along with us. I'm curious to see what V has to say next week about 500 Days of Summer.
Yes, because we've never talked about this movie before.
No, we've not. And V, what did you choose for our return with romantic comedy films?
I chose a newer rom-com, but I think it actually flew under the radar, especially because it was a streaming movie, even though I think it did deserve a theatrical release because it is that good. It was written and starring Ali Wong and Randall Park. Ali Wong is a hilarious comedian.
Oh, very much so.
A lot of her stand-up specials are on Netflix. And Randall Park helped develop a really funny sitcom called Fresh Off the Boat that was on for a couple years. They star in this movie called Always Be My Maybe. I love this film so much. The script is so witty and hilarious. Makes me laugh every single time. Please watch it if you haven't seen it already on Netflix. But do me a favor. Do not watch the trailer first. There's a huge spoiler in the trailer. And so if you're interested at all, it's very funny. It's not raunchy in any way. It's a pretty tame rom-com. Actually, both our movies are next week. So go ahead with your eyes open to Always Be My Maybe. Please give it a try on Netflix. It's really great, and I'm really excited to talk about it next week.
As am I. This will be my second time watching it. Amy and I watched it, I think, when it first came out, and I remember laughing nonstop. So I'm excited to revisit it. I love Ali Wong and Randall Park, and them together. Just can't wait.
They're friends in real life. You could tell that they really enjoyed and put a lot of their hearts into this movie, which is always nice to see. And given the stand-ups I've seen from Ali Wong, when I did pick this movie, I figured I had a pretty strong assumption that you would like it, just because her comedy is right up your alley. And so,
I've seen all of her specials, and I am in tears all the time. She is hysterical.
She's certainly a lot dirtier in her stand-ups than she is in Always Be My Maybe.
Oh, that's for sure.
She's tamed in this movie. Yes, so those are our rom-coms. That is our return to recording next week. Please join us then next Wednesday, as always. That's when we drop our episodes. And in the meantime, please enjoy our 2022 recap remastered episodes for you. Hopes to remind you of a lot of great movies from that year.
Hell yeah. Enjoy, everybody.
Enjoy. Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Movies You Miss Podcast. I'm V.
I'm John.
And today we are doing a 2022 movie wrap-up.
Oh, yes. Can't wait. So excited. Because there's a lot of movies that I watched last year.
Yeah, I need to try to keep up with you a little more this year.
I think you do. And the cool thing about my movie list is majority of them were seen in theaters. Now, granted, I did watch a lot of them on streaming, but I made it a point to go to the theaters last year quite a bit, and I think I might have gone within the 20 to 25 range of seeing movies in the theaters of last year. So that's already started this year because I've already seen Avatar: Way of Water again to start off 2023.
Now, we are normally a movie recommendation podcast for anybody who's listened to us before, but today we are actually going to go through all of the movies that we watched last year and let you all know which ones we think were the best of the year, which ones we're seeing, and then which ones you should avoid at all costs.
I can't wait to get into the avoid at all costs because those that know me and have read my manifestos on Facebook know that I get very passionate about the movies that I don't like, especially if I really hate it. And I don't think I really hated a whole lot of movies last year, but there's definitely some movies on my you can never see or waste your time with list today.
Agreed. I think you were strategic in the movies you watched, and there were a couple that you would have absolutely hated that you just straight up skipped.
That's very true, too, yes. And of course, there's definitely some that I really wanted to watch and get through before we did this episode. Case in point, RRR. I really want to check that one out. It's supposed to be quite spectacular. And it's on Netflix now, and it just won the Golden Globe for Best Original Song.
Yes, I think there are several 2022 movies that we won't discuss today that we will actually touch on for our Oscars episode coming up in a little over a month.
And speaking of Oscars, the nominations just came out yesterday. There's a lot of processing happening on both my end and V's end, so we will have our opinions for you next week.
That's right, but for this week, do you want to jump into our movie list? And John and I really like to start off with bad news first and end on a high note, so we are going to kick this episode off with the movies from 2022 that you should absolutely avoid at all costs.
Yes, my movies that I absolutely hated last year. And there's actually a few on here that I didn't really necessarily hate with a burning passion, although there's a few of them. And I'm going to start with one that I actually went and saw as kind of an accident. I went to see The Thing at the drive-in theater right down the road originally. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stick around for the second because they do double features. And it was October, so they were doing horror movies. So it was The Thing and Halloween Ends. And about an hour into Halloween Ends, I turned the car on and drove out of the parking lot because that movie fucking blew hard. That was an awful flick.
If there's ever any proof of a movie you should miss, it's literally leaving halfway through.
It is leaving the theater, yes. And I have very rarely ever walked out of a movie or driven out of a movie. And I can now say that I've driven out of a movie. I think that's kind of fun. So that's the first one for me, Halloween Ends. The second one is actually another movie that I had to sit through at the drive-in because my wife and I originally went to go see Elvis. But this movie was the first movie to play before Elvis. Strange pairing. This was the Minions Rise of Gru movie. What a god-awful, annoying fucking movie. Oh, that movie sucked so bad.
I love that the audience is finally, after 8 months, hearing how we hate movies because we normally recommend movies on this podcast.
So great. It's actually a really refreshing moment. This is very zenful for me.
This is very liberating
for
both
of us. I'm really getting my anger out. It very much so. Hell yeah. So those two right there, hated with a burning passion. This one I actually hated and wanted to burn the theater down. This was a remake of the... And I'm only saying burn the theater down because this is the remake of the Stephen King, Drew Barrymore Firestarter with Zac Efron. Fuck that movie. Fuck it. Every possible way and not the good way. That movie sucked. My wife and I were so mad because the night before we had watched the original and thought it was fantastic, and good God, I just felt so bad for Zac Efron. So Firestarter, you can definitely avoid. Another one that I thought was atrocious to the point where I felt like I was getting a twitch, and the only reason I watched it was because it was on streaming, and I've seen the other movies, and there was IMAX-enhanced scenes. This is Thor: Love and Thunder. What a crock of shit that movie is. In every sense of the word.
The first movie on both of our movies you should miss lists. Thor: Love and Thunder was, agreed, atrocious in every
So
sense
bad.
of the word. And god damn it, what a horrible waste of Christian Bale.
Oh, most definitely. I might give this one another shot, but I really just it was one of those movies where my eyes were moving around in every section of the screen far too much for me to pay attention. It was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness as a sequel to whatever the show was, the Scarlet Witch at WandaVision. No thanks, not into it. There was one sequence that was great when he's going through all the verses. The animation and special effects there were spectacular. Other than that, nope, not for me.
I did not like that movie either. I was really disappointed in a couple of things about it, including the villain choice. I think they went in kind of a weird direction where there was end credit scenes from the original Doctor Strange that set up the next villain quite well and could have been really interesting and raised a lot of ethical questions for Doctor Strange, and they decided to go in a completely different direction that I don't think panned out.
I completely agree. And the final one that I have on my list of most hated films was a movie that V and I both watched together.
Yes, we
the
did.
morning that we went to go see Avatar: Way of Water. This is the Dwayne Johnson, Pierce Brosnan, caper Black Adam. Terrible fucking movie.
We watched it
Terrible
together. It is on both of our movies you should miss lists. There's not much else to say.
Yes, it is. No, there's really not. And the final one, I'm adding it to it because it really just made me angry, was a horror film last year called Smile. I watched it just the other night, and there are times when even the lowest budget horror movie will give me a bit of dread. This movie just didn't do anything for me. Didn't scare me. I kind of laughed at the end. So there were 3 horror movies last year that I thought were not so good. And that's my list of movies to truly miss. And, I've been really struggling with this final one, and I think I'm just going to put it in the movies that you can take or leave, and so we'll get into it then. So, V, I'm curious what your movies you should miss list looks like this last year.
Yes, as we've discussed, there are a couple that we share, movies we both saw that we both agree on that are missable. And so the additional movies that I watched that thankfully John didn't have to sit through are most recently The Bad Guys. It's a DreamWorks animated film, unfortunately voiced by Sam Rockwell, who we both are big fans of on this show, and it just really fell flat for me. I felt very long, and the pacing was wrong, and I actually turned it off midway through. And
oh, wow.
And didn't enjoy it. Thankfully, I had streamed it at home, so it wasn't a huge loss. The Gray Man, which is a Netflix-produced movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which was god-awful. I really enjoy the actors in it, Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans, but Chris Evans as a deranged villain was so over-the-top, campy, ludicrous, it just fell super flat in a trying to be serious movie. Hated The Gray Man.
Never saw that one.
Skip it. And you hate Netflix productions anyway, so it's easy for you to skip that.
Majority of them, yes, I do.
And the last 2 movies, which were terrible, which most people will agree were terrible, were Morbius, the Jared Leto-led superhero movie that is one of the worst superhero movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
I almost watched that the other night, actually, to do a 2022 Marvel roundup for myself, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to. I'm not going to. That's one of those movies I know I should miss.
And the last one, John will thank me for and appreciate that it is on the worst of the worst list. It is Jurassic World.
Jurassic World Dominion. Yay.
For anyone who knows John, Jurassic Park is his all-time favorite movie, and so it is actually insulting to his soul that Jurassic World movies are being made still.
Yes, it is.
And I can confirm it was a garbage movie.
As can everybody that apparently has seen it, and I think it's hilarious that a lot of people have come to me and be like, "What'd you think?" I'm like, "You don't know me, then."
Yeah, exactly. It's a good friendship test.
One of my best buddies just hit me up the other day. He goes, "Have you seen Jurassic World Dominion?" And I said, "Fuck no." And he just laughed, and he's like, "Oh, I have it on in the background right now. I don't understand what's going on." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I hear about it, and there's no way."
And John, you have a couple of movies that you said you're on the fence about.
Yeah, I'm on the fence to throw these in the missed category only because the casts were great in these movies, and they were. One of them was more entertaining than the other, but they both had entertaining moments. And they were both romantic comedies, and those that have been listening to the show and those that know me actually know that I do enjoy romantic comedies. The first one I'll talk about is Ticket to Paradise with George Clooney and Julia Roberts. kind of missed the mark for me. There were a few moments that I thought were humorous. Again, clever little movie, very beautiful locations. So, of course, we're watching two beautiful Hollywood types in beautiful locations again, which there's nothing ever wrong with doing. And then the other one is The Lost City with Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, Daniel Radcliffe, and Brad Pitt. On the fence about that only because I've watched it 1.5 times. The first time I fell asleep. The second time was on the plane coming back from Orlando. And I laughed quite a bit. I thought Daniel Radcliffe was great. Brad Pitt's whole shtick was quite entertaining, too. Those are the types of movies that I like to put on like a rainy day with the wife, and just kind of like have in the background while we talk or, play or do a puzzle or something like that. So entertaining enough, but not anything that blew me away.
Yeah, and not egregiously insulting as the other movies we just discussed, which is why we're on the fence about him. And I agree. I think that Ticket to Paradise was extremely forgettable, and I actually didn't like either of the characters that Julia Roberts or George Clooney were playing. I liked The Lost City much, much better if we were comparing the two. But again, I had actually, when we were making our list of movies that we'd seen last year, I'd completely forgotten that I'd watched both of them. So that's why we're kind of on the fence with both of these where, they're missable. But rom-coms, I think, are more forgivable for being bad as a genre. Right. And so I think that's why both of us are on the fence of like, you could watch it. You're not going to hate. Yeah, that's a good point. Not going to hate the TV like you would with other movies we just discussed. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. No, absolutely. I completely agree. And both of them are shot all over the world in beautiful locations. So like I said, there's nothing ever wrong with watching beautiful people in beautiful locations.
Absolutely. And a couple of months ago, my family visited the Australian shooting locations for Ticket to Paradise, actually.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome. Yeah, set in Bali, shot in Queensland, Australia.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, that moves us along then, I think, Vee. What do you think?
Yeah, so next we are in the category of movies you could miss. These are the ones that are movies that aren't the best of the year, but also didn't make us irrationally angry because they were terrible.
Exactly. So on my movies that you could miss or could take or leave, I've got quite the list. And the thing is, this list is kind of arbitrary also because there's definitely some entertaining movies in here, but they're not any that I, like, if anybody's like, oh, is it a must-see? I'd be like, you could, if you wanted to spend the time with those characters, definitely give it a shot. But if it's something that you're just like, you don't necessarily care too much about, then you can move right along, and that's fine. And that's what I feel this list of my movies kind of entails. The first one I will start off with is a Disney sequel, Disenchanted, the sequel to Enchanted. Thought it was fine, a very decent sequel. The music and songs were good. Maya Rudolph was great. Overall, it is a completely forgettable sequel in the realm of Disney. I couldn't tell you even what went on in that movie, but it was entertaining enough to watch. I'm curious, did you see Disenchanted?
I ended up not seeing it because there were so many reviews saying it was so bad and I didn't want it to ruin the first one for me.
Oh, gotcha.
But now that it's in your movies you could miss category, maybe I'll give it a shot this year at some point, just for fun.
It's on Disney Plus. Definitely worth your time because there's a lot of cool special effects. The second one is a Netflix produced movie, and the only reason it's on this list is because you definitely could take it or leave it. Especially if you have no idea about this story. It's based on a true story. I read the true crime novel. It's called The Good Nurse, starring Eddie Redmayne and Jessica Chastain. I just did a watch party with some friends of mine who read the book along with me. We all three really enjoyed the movie. The performances were great. It actually really ripped a lot from the book, so it's not one of those took liberty type, of movies. They really did sink their teeth into their research for learning about this guy, Charlie Cullen, who Eddie Redmayne plays. And if anybody's curious about it, it is a true crime novel set back in the 90s about a doctor that was killing a bunch of patients and getting away with it for quite some time.
Ew.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. Again, great performances. It's Netflix. Those that have listened know that I have an issue with Netflix as a production company, but that is what it is. My next one on this list is also another sequel. This is the Kenneth Branagh directed, Gal Gadot led Death on the Nile. I enjoyed it much better than Murder on the Orient Express. I thought this one moved along a lot better. The cinematography is stunning, and how can you not love spending 2 hours looking at Gal Gadot. So definitely give it a shot if you like a whodunit. I have not seen The Glass Onion, but I hated Knives Out, so I felt Death on the Nile was a lot of fun. And I think, V, you watched that one recently too, didn't you?
I did, and I really enjoyed it. I was surprised because both Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile had gotten terrible reviews. But the other night, I was just really feeling like I wanted to have some sort of escapism, popcorn-style movie where I didn't have to think that much. I threw it on, and I was pleasantly surprised. I thought the acting was actually pretty good. I thought that there was a lot more emotions and seriousness of this movie than I figured there would be. I thought the movie might be a little ridiculous, and it was actually there was actually some tension, and I was pleasantly surprised. And since you just mentioned it, I will say Glass Onion is also on my movies you could watch for 2022 list. It was very close to being on a movie you should watch of last year list. It's very close to it, but I think what kicked it down was all the other movies on the movies you can't miss list. They're so good. Putting Glass Onion there just felt a little wrong. It felt like one of these things is not like the other. And so Death on the Nile and Glass Onion are two very fun whodunit films that are certainly worth watching from last year.
Sweet. Moving along on my list of movies that you could see, take it or leave, in my opinion, the Alex Garland, Jesse Buckley-led Men. Strange movie. I saw it in theaters. I am a big Alex Garland fan. He wrote 28 Days Later. He wrote and directed Ex Machina, wrote and directed Annihilation with Natalie Portman. Men is a very strange film about a woman that goes to an Airbnb in the UK, and strange happenings just kind of follow her. Very disturbing movie. It's one of those movies where the end is so twisted and fucked up that you really can't forget, and I kind of like that about Alex Garland. So Men is definitely on the give it a shot if you feel like it, or you could also miss it. It wasn't like spectacular, but it was an enjoyable film, and I don't think you saw that one, did you, V?
No, because I don't normally watch horror movies on purpose unless you make me.
Right. Yes, and I wouldn't have made you watch Men. Men was very strange, and I talked to a lot of people about it, and they agreed that it was a strange one. I would watch it again, though, and again, that's just my fandom for Alex Garland. Next movie, moving right along, this was a tough one for me because I really liked the performance, but the movie itself pissed me off a lot. And I'm talking about the new Darren Aronofsky, Brendan Fraser, The Whale. Beautiful performance from Brendan Fraser, definitely brought me to tears. Great direction, great cinematography. Overall, though, the character, as human as he was, is just something that I always fear I might become. And I think that's just the majority of people. We always worry about our weight, and we always worry about the caloric intake and like what we're eating and like how we might look to other people when we eat and this, that, and the other. And that was one of those movies that really kind of rubbed me a very certain way. And I don't know how many more times that I would actually sit and watch that one, where I would definitely watch The Wrestler again. And I love Black Swan. And again, these are character study films from Darren Aronofsky, but The Whale was, I think, the first movie from Darren Aronofsky that actually made me angry. It's tough to say it was enjoyable because it was a heavy movie. Maybe
triggering, I guess, might be a good word.
Triggering is a good word. Yeah,
okay.
There we go. It was definitely a triggering experience. Yeah, because I've definitely been overweight, and it is what it is. So yeah, again, great performance. He was deserving of the Critics' Choice Awards. He will get an Oscar nomination. I don't know if he'll win, but again, take it or leave it. If you do want to see it, it is a good movie. But if you don't want to, then you're not necessarily missing something that's going to change your life. I don't think you've seen The Whale yet, have you, V?
I haven't seen it yet just because of the topic being as serious as it is. And I hear that it's a pretty intense movie. I just haven't been in the mood to watch a movie like that lately. Like I said, the other night I watched Death on the Nile instead.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Another one, V, you and I watched together, the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio. Mm-hmm. I still don't think I liked it. The songs threw me off. There was like one or two that were enjoyable. The animation is great. It is Guillermo del Toro, but that doesn't mean it's always going to be good. But if you want to check it out, give it a shot. It is a Netflix production, and the animation is great, and that's about all that it had going for it, in my opinion.
Agreed. I do think at the end of the day, I didn't like it as well, but because of the animation, Guillermo del Toro, as we talked about, that's why it's in our movies you could miss category versus movies you should miss. Yeah. I think we both agree on why it is in this part of the listing.
definitely. Next one is a ridiculous film directed by Roland Emmerich starring Patrick Wilson and Halle Berry. This is Moonfall. I saw this in theaters and I had a blast.
Why did you watch that movie?
Because it's Roland Emmerich and he directed Independence Day and Stargate, and I will always support Roland Emmerich. And Moonfall was a lot of fun. The special effects were great. I love a disaster flick where the Earth or California is just getting destroyed. And I know that Roland Emmerich didn't direct San Andreas, but I love San Andreas with Dwayne Johnson. Moonfall was just a lot of fun, and it touches on the idea that the moon is actually an alien base and this kind of shit. And there's a lot of Independence Day going on in Moonfall, so that might be another reason why I enjoyed it. But definitely, if it's on HBO and you're scrolling through the channels and it's like 10 minutes in, you don't need to see the first 15, 20, 30 minutes of this movie. You will know exactly what's going on, even if you jump in an hour later. But it's a lot of fun, and that's kind of what I enjoyed about it. And going along with the fun movies of last year, this is another one that I had fun watching and do wish I would have seen in theaters because it was in 3D. This is the Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg Uncharted. I thought it was a lot of fun. I've never played the video game,
that's
but
why you think it's fun, and that's why you're okay with putting it on the movies you could miss, because anyone who's played
really?
Uncharted, that is a blasphemous movie that should never be watched by anyone.
Really? It looked like it was literally
so
ripped
miscast.
From.
No.
Oh,
horrible
really,
miscasting, yeah. Because Tom Holland's hot right now in terms of his bankability and star power. Most people who play that game were really pissed about that movie, including me.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Listen, I never played it, but it was definitely one of those games like, I got to check that game out. I liked the opening, and the opening put me in a good mood, and I don't know, I had fun watching it, but
That's
again,
good.
I'm not.
No, I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. Another one is a whodunit caper set in the UK with Sam Rockwell. This movie is See How They Run. Very entertaining, hour and a half whodunit cop caper, and very reminiscent of Wes Anderson, who I do not enjoy. This movie was a better Wes Anderson movie without having Wes Anderson involved. Yeah, Wes Anderson is one of the most overrated directors. My wife is a major fan, and it hurts me to hear her say how much she thinks he is brilliant, and they are the exact same fucking movie every goddamn time. But
Agreed.
See How They Run was entertaining. Next one is another Disney movie, actually, and I liked this movie, and it's only on my to miss because a lot of people, it might go over their heads. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know a lot of people that saw it. This is Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. I thought it was great. I really had a good time with it, especially because I believe it's Chip. He comes home and takes his AirPods out, and he's listening to Laid to Rest by Lamb of God, which is one of my most favorite metal bands on the planet, and I thought that was a great little Easter egg for us metalheads that are also Disney fans, because majority of us metalheads are Disney fans.
There are metal fans? Because there was for any of you who don't know, there was a very weird interview with Cate Blanchett on Graham Norton's show.
It wasn't that weird.
It was. So
no, it was not.
Margot Robbie was talking about how she's a metalhead and has gone to a bunch of shows, including Slipknot, which is so cool. And
I love that.
Made
so
John
awesome.
and I like Margot even more. And Cate Blanchett came in with some really weird comments about metal music, and people actually like that stuff, or people actually fans, and I imagine they all like monster trucks too. And it was just a very dismissive, kind of condescending comments that a lot of people online were pretty disappointed with, and I was too, considering John and I are both metalheads.
Yeah, and I think you took it the wrong way, like I had said, and in all seriousness, the way Cate Blanchett asked Margot Robbie about how she actually likes metal music is how anybody that doesn't listen to metal music asks me if I like metal music. And I don't find any insult in it. I just think they're genuinely curious, and I thought it was funny when Cate Blanchett goes, "So do you like monster trucks?" And Margot's like, "No, there's no, they don't go hand in hand, because monster trucks are loud and metal music is loud." No. Yeah, so I can understand people taking it like Kate's being condescending. That's the beautiful thing about metal. You look at Margot Robbie and you're like, "Oh, definitely country pop music." No, she's at a Slipknot concert. Fuck yeah. And it's like when I went to Die Antwoord and saw Amy Adams in line for merchandise at the Die Antwoord concert. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I love that. I've been a metalhead for 25 years of my life, and people still are like, "You really like metal?" And I'm like, yeah. I really do. I really fucking do. So yeah, but Definitely Chippendale Rescue Rangers. A lot of fun, cool animation, great pop culture references over the last 25, 30 years. Give it a shot. It's on Disney+. Another one is a Disney movie, which my wife and I were excited about. I know, V, you hadn't seen the original, so you felt that it was lame, but this is Hocus Pocus 2 with Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker. Definitely missable. If you haven't seen the original one, you're probably not going to enjoy the second one, because the second one does have nod after nod after nod to the original. And I thought number 2 was a lot of fun. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel anything other than what it should have been. And I thought it was enjoyable and a lot of fun. A great Halloween movie. My wife and I will likely do the double feature every year now.
I totally forgot that I'd watched it, so that's another movie to my movies you should miss list. Definitely down at the bottom.
Oh.
I had watched Hocus Pocus before watching the second one. I did do it justice.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
However,
I thought you hadn't seen the original one.
But however, because I hadn't watched it as a kid, there isn't that nostalgia piece that's tied to it, so I wasn't as forgiving as I'm sure a lot of people were. But yeah, I thought Hocus Pocus 2 was an absolutely terrible movie.
Oh, well. All right. I guess that's fine. V, this one might hurt a little bit. This is on my you could miss, you could watch. It's fun. I didn't see it in theaters. I should have seen it in theaters. The cast is stacked. It's a lot of fun. It's action-packed. It's Brad Pitt led. Aaron Taylor Johnson's also in it. This is Bullet Train.
No.
Bullet Train was fine. It was fine. But it wasn't something that I turned off and was like, yeah, I didn't have that surge of energy that I thought I would have. Granted, though, I watched it at home. I think if I had seen it in theaters, it would have been a completely different experience for me.
Wholeheartedly agree, because that is on my best of the year list just because it's so goddamn fun.
Oh. Yeah, it was definitely fun. And again, I didn't see it in theaters, so I definitely
it was so fun in theaters.
Screwed up doing that. Yeah. Another movie that I feel you definitely could miss or not, give it a shot, especially if you are a Kevin Smith fan and have seen the first 2, which are both still hilarious. This is Clerks 3. Clerks 3 goes a lot more heavy on the human drama than any of the other Clerks movies, and I liked that about it, but I also didn't necessarily like that about it. I was still hoping for something super raunchy and super ridiculous. It's a very meta type of a movie. And it kind of reminded me of Synecdoche, New York a little bit, if anybody's ever seen that movie with Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's a Charlie Kaufman movie. Very much reminiscent kind of that idea where, you're kind of putting yourself into the movie about your life. And that's kind of what Clerks 3 was for me. Shout out to Kevin Smith, because he did like one of our tweets on Twitter, so that was pretty fucking cool.
Yes, I actually went to the premiere of Clerks 2 back in the day when it came out and have met the cast, all awesome people. Really, really enjoyed Clerks 2 as a movie. And I really like how they wrapped it up, and so I had no interest whatsoever in seeing Clerks 3, and then all the reviews came out, and you told me it wasn't very good. And I know we don't swear by reviews, of course, and see movies on their own merit, depending on what our interests are, but a lot of times when you're on the fence and see and read reactions, then you really are pushed over to be like, I'm not going to watch this.
Yeah, and again, enjoyable at home, still had some laugh-out-loud moments. Randall is still Randall, Dante's still Dante, all that kind of stuff.
Definitely watch the original too, though, because they're amazing.
Oh, yes. So fucking funny. Another one, V, you and I both have on, I think, this list. We both just recently watched it. Brendan Gleeson, Colin Farrell in The Banshees of Inisherin. Enjoyable dialogue, interesting movie, completely different than anything I've ever seen, which I think is why I liked it. But at the same time, it is about 2 hours long, and nothing really happens. It is just a dialogue movie, and there's nothing wrong with those. It might not be for everybody. I enjoyed it. I don't know how many times I would watch it, but it was definitely... I'm glad that I did see it the one time. So I think, V, you have opinions of your own about Banshees of Inisherin as well?
That are right in line with yours, actually. I agree. The cinematography and the location was gorgeous. It just makes me want to visit the UK. And these are all very good actors. I really just think it came down to the story that afterwards I was like, nothing really happened, and I could have gone without knowing that story and it wouldn't have changed anything.
Sure. Yeah, it doesn't add anything to anybody's life.
It doesn't add anything to anything at all, actually, in my opinion. And now that I've seen it in comparison to other movies, I actually do have a little bit of an issue with Colin Farrell winning the best performance by an actor in a musical or comedy for the Golden Globes, because I absolutely believe that Ralph Fiennes should have won instead now.
Oh, fascinating.
Also, I don't think it should have been in the musical or comedy category in the Golden Globes because it wasn't funny. It was very dark.
It really wasn't that funny. Yeah, it definitely was. I guess you'd call it a black comedy because there definitely wasn't a whole lot of laugh out loud moments in Banshees of Inisherin, for me, at least.
Agreed.
All right. This one is also on my you could miss, you could watch list. I enjoyed it. My wife did not my wife enjoyed it up until a certain point. I think it was the fourth course called The Mess. This is The Menu with Ray Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicholas Hoult. Let's not forget our good buddy John Leguizamo playing a character that apparently Daniel Radcliffe was originally going to play, but Daniel Radcliffe had scheduling conflicts.
Interesting.
So The Menu is, an R-rated Chef's Table episode from Netflix. It is twisted as fuck. V, when you saw it in theaters, you told me that it was really fucked up, and as the movie's moving along, I was just like, I don't know when this movie's going to get fucked up, and then it gets fucked up.
Yes, it does.
It's on the you can miss and it's on the you can watch because there's definitely people that will likely turn this movie off after that course comes about, and there are people like me that will continue to the end of that movie, and I am glad that I stuck it out. Anya Taylor-Joy, I am quite into. I think she's great as an actress. She's very, very different. I really liked her in Last Night in Soho very much. But yeah, The Menu is a lot of fun, and I think I'm in agreement with you, V, about Ray Fiennes should have taken over Colin Farrell, definitely. The Menu was a far more interesting story.
Yes, and I agree with you also with the placement of this movie. It is fun. It's gorgeously shot. It's interesting. I think it's in the take it or leave it category because it depends on the person watching the movie. My sister Shannon really liked it. She's like, oh yeah, that was a fucked up movie. And I was like, yeah. And she said, oh, it was great. And she had a lot of fun with it. But my other sister Amber would absolutely hate that movie. And so, it just depends on if you like twisted tales of social commentary, I think is the best way to describe that movie.
Yeah, absolutely. To finish off this list, I've got a few more, and this one was pitched to me by a lot of people. They're like, you got to check this movie out. This is the Justin Long and Bill Skarsgård-led Barbarian. This movie is an acquired taste. I was into it the entire way through. I'm not going to lie. I liked the movie. I have an issue with people in a movie theater that start laughing during a horror movie. I could not help but laugh watching a certain scene in Barbarian. And I'm sure our listeners that have seen Barbarian know exactly what I'm talking about. This movie is fucking strange. It's not super scary, but it's definitely disturbing. And there's one scene where I was disturbed but could not help but start laughing and be like, what in the fuck is this? And my wife was watching it with me, and up until that moment, kind of like with The Menu, she goes, okay, this movie's dumb, and she checked out. So Barbarian, very strange movie. A lot of people that I've talked to, like I said, they told me I would love it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I don't need to own it, but it was a fascinating movie, and I really liked seeing Justin Long in this movie because he was in another horror-type movie that Kevin Smith wrote called Tusk, which was a fucking fucked movie. The funny thing was Kevin Smith was coming out with some fucked movies at the time. It was Red State, and then he did Tusk. Red State is fucking awesome. For anybody that's ever not seen Red State, check that shit out. That movie is nuts. But Barbarian, that was quite an entertaining experience watching Barbarian.
All right. Hadn't heard of that one yet, and actually hadn't heard you mention it before, so I'm glad you talked about it in this episode.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you would enjoy it
Probably
at all.
Not.
But you are a Bill Skarsgård fan, and it just takes a turn at one point, and you're just kind of like, where is this going? Another one on my list here is The Secrets of Dumbledore, the Fantastic Beasts movie with Jude Law and Mads Mikkelsen. Not a bad movie. Had some good special effects. Kind of forgettable for me. I understand going back and doing the origin stories of all of Harry Potter's characters, but do we really need it? I don't know. My wife seems to think we do, so there it is. Another one's a Netflix project with Ryan Reynolds, The Adam Project.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty good. A missable or give it a shot. I think it's like an hour and 45 minutes. A good hour and 45 minutes. Jennifer Garner's in it too, if I remember correctly.
Yep, and Mark Ruffalo, and I really enjoyed that movie as well. It's also on my movies you could miss list, only because it's a bit forgettable. And Zoe Saldana's in it. We are fans of all of these actors. I
don't even remember.
Exactly. It's just, it was good. Yeah. Great family movie. It was very forgettable, which is why it ended up on this part of my list.
Yeah. And that is my biggest problem with the streaming movies, is that there's so many of them that you do want to give a shot, and you just kind of forget which ones you watched because there's so many that you're watching. That's the one reason why I still like going to the movie theaters, because like, oh yeah, I saw that one in theaters, and I'll like have that memory of being in the theaters and being affected by it a certain way. So yeah, Adam Project again was fine. Another one I should have seen in theaters, Idris Elba, Charlton Copley, Beast. Should have seen that in theaters, but I watched it at home and it was an exciting flick. I really enjoyed that one. You can see it, you can check it out or not. It's just an enjoyable kind of animal, not really horror movie, but it's intense. It's got some moments and a great cast, so you can't really go wrong there.
Yeah, you can. Look at Babylon.
Oh, I have not seen Babylon yet, but
ensemble cast
we'll see
movie.
if I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
Another one that I actually enjoyed, and it was kind of tough to put this on this list because it was a very enjoyable movie. It's a movie called Valet. It is a film about mistaken identity, and it's very entertaining. My wife and I watched it. I think it was like an hour and a half. Again, Hulu produced, very funny, had some great moments. Definitely check it out if you want to. It's on streaming, so I didn't think this one was super forgettable, which I guess is kind of high praise for a streaming production. Mm-hmm. Another one with Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal. I wanted to see this in theaters, but I actually watched it on a flight. This is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Very meta movie about Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage. Had some very entertaining moments, and it just kind of went on a ridiculous road trip, but that's fine. And it was entertaining. I don't know how many other times I'd watch it, unless like V, you were over and like, let's watch that. It's not one I need to own in my collection, but an enjoyable film nonetheless. Did you ever see that one?
I didn't, only because I'm not a big Nicolas Cage fan, but I am a Pedro Pascal fan, so.
Ah, yes.
It was it was the talk of pop culture for a hot minute at the beginning of 2022.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again,
everybody was
waiting for Nicolas Cage to do a movie where he played himself, and there's Neil Patrick Harris is in it too, and Neil Patrick Harris is really funny in it.
Nice.
Yeah, so my final three, two I've mentioned on the show already. Don't Worry, Darling, the Olivia Wilde directed, Harry Styles and Florence Pugh starring drama. Very entertaining. Like I said, it's like Ready Player One meets The Stepford Wives. I enjoyed it. The other one is Hustle with Adam Sandler, another Netflix-produced movie. I thought that was a better performance by Adam Sandler than in Uncut Gems. I think Uncut Gems is an overrated movie. And the final one that you could either see or miss if you wanted to, an enjoyable movie, but I still think his first one is his best movie. This is Jordan Peele's Nope with Keke Palmer. An enjoyable movie, but nothing that I need to run out and own and anything like that. But still something that I would likely watch again since it's on streaming right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my list of movies that were decent enough to mention, and movies that if you have no interest in, then you're probably not missing much. So V, I'm curious what your list looks like.
Yeah, so I have a couple to add to the movies you could miss category. First is Senior. It is a Netflix-produced documentary by Robert Downey Jr. It is an introspective look at his father, their relationship, and his career. I haven't mentioned this on the podcast yet because I just watched it about a week ago. I'm a big fan of documentaries, and I do love Robert Downey Jr., but I felt like this movie really needed better direction. There are 3 distinct themes, and it just feels like this movie doesn't have enough focus to be very good as a documentary. So it's about his dad's career as an indie filmmaker, but then it's also about their relationship, but then it's also about something else. And it just felt a little all over the place and not cohesive enough to be a really good, really meaningful or impactful documentary. But I appreciate that Robert Downey Jr. got to create this while his dad was still alive. So again, you could take it or leave it. It's on Netflix right now. And the funny thing is, this is my pick for next week. This is a J-Lo-led, Owen Wilson starring rom-com called Marry Me, which I really, really enjoyed. It is absolutely my number one guilty pleasure rom-com right now, which is why it's our pick for next week. So I'm spoiling our next week's episode a little bit. Apologies. We'll talk about that towards the end of the episode. But Marry Me is a very fun movie, but it's in the movies you could miss category for me this year. And a movie that you haven't seen, though I do recommend it because this is my favorite horror franchise. This is Scream.
Oh, yeah, I did not see the newer one.
It was very good. I had a ton of fun watching it, and I love Neve Campbell. I am so disappointed that the producers really screwed the pooch on the next one and didn't come to contract terms with her for the next Scream movie that's coming out. So the next Scream movie I will not be watching because Neve Campbell is not in it. This movie also stars Jenna Ortega, which is the very first time I had seen her in anything before watching Wednesday, so that was really cool, and I really do like her as an actress. I think she is up and coming. And so, yeah, Scream was very fun. Like I said, it's my favorite horror series, and I do recommend it for anybody who likes that genre or that franchise.
It was on my to-watch list and to see in theaters list, and I never got around to it.
Okay, well, I certainly recommend it. It might be streaming on HBO right now, if I remember correctly. And the last two movies on my movies you could miss list, I think you might be kind of surprised by. Elvis is on my movies you could miss list because of Tom Hanks in that movie.
Oh, yeah. I almost put that on my you could miss list.
Yeah, and so Austin Butler is incredible, and I think he makes that movie. But otherwise, it is a movie I think that people could miss if they weren't interested in it. And lastly, The Northman.
Oh,
sorry.
I know you didn't like that movie very much.
I really loved the first 2/3 of that movie, and then the last bit of that movie really pissed me off. And I understand why it was written that way, but it still made me kind of mad when the credits started rolling. So I was like, I probably wouldn't watch that movie again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those are my movies you could miss.
That's a pretty good list.
Thanks. You too.
Yeah. All right, good lists on both sides to begin. And now we're about to get into the movies you can't miss. Favorite movies of the year for both of us. I'm excited because my list is pretty big, and honestly, I liked a lot more movies last year than I thought I did. So right? I guess that's a good thing. Even in the list that we just previously talked about, there's still good movies in there.
Oh, yeah.
We just kind of feel like those are ones that, take it or leave it. These are the ones that we feel, in both of our opinions, granted our lists are different, which is going to be great. So I'm excited. I'm going to start at the bottom of my list because I didn't really put this in any particular order, but I'm going to start at the bottom. And the first movie that I feel that people should definitely check out is another Disney Pixar movie. It's called Turning Red. I was so surprised by how good that movie was. I don't know, V, if you saw it or not.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's very, very entertaining about a young girl turning 13 and, the changes that she goes through. And there's a family curse and she becomes this big red panda. And it's very entertaining. And it got completely panned by so many parents, our age, which I think is fucking hilarious. How dare they do these things in Disney movies now? It's like, oh, okay.
Talk about
it was
periods.
fine 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't
So
believe
ridiculous.
it. And literally there might be a sentence that has to do with a menstrual cycle. Other than that, it has nothing else to ever do with the menstrual cycle. Anyway, great movie, awesome animation. Sandra Oh is the voice of the mother. She cracked me up. I don't normally like Sandra Oh, but definitely a movie that I feel everybody should check out. Maybe not every child, maybe 12 and above, but overall an entertaining flick and one I definitely have been meaning to watch again.
Well, and what a great opportunity to broach a normally sensitive topic with your preteen daughters.
Right, yeah. And it's by the same people that did Inside Out, which is one of my most favorite Pixar films about emotions, and stuff like that. So it was very good. My second movie that you cannot miss, and this is for everybody that has seen the original or even seen the animated series back in the 90s by Mike Judge, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. What a masterpiece. What a return to form. I think I talked about it in a very earlier episode of ours. It was one of the movies that I watched. And V, I know you've seen Beavis and Butthead Do America, but I don't think you saw Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe yet.
Not yet, but now it's on your movies you can't miss list. I don't know if I have an excuse now.
Yeah, you really don't. It's on Paramount Plus, and everybody is back doing the voices. I say everybody, Mike Judge, pretty much. And I just watched it again about 3 or 4 nights ago because I needed like a palate cleanser after something I watched, and I sat there laughing again for an entire 86 minutes. It's so fucking funny. Another one, which we recently talked about, I won't get too deep into, The Woman King, starring Viola Davis. Absolutely, you cannot miss. You have to see that movie. It is so awesome. Great action, great stunt work, great performances all around. Great soundtrack, great cinematography. I mean, just a great movie altogether. I know, V, you have not yet seen that one.
No, but I've heard good things, and Viola Davis is a literal tour de force, I hear, especially in this movie, so definitely want to give it a shot. It's unfortunate that she hasn't been getting as much award season buzz as I think she probably deserves, given it's Viola Davis, and she's amazing and everything.
Seriously, I know. It's really interesting. This film you have on your you could miss list only because of one actor in it, but it's on my you can't miss list because I think it is a pretty fucking great movie. I'm not a big Elvis fan. My wife is, and my wife put her stamp of approval on this movie because my wife knows Elvis like the back of her hand. And I love Baz Luhrmann. I thought Austin Butler was great. And I just like the history lesson that we get, and we learn about Elvis's rise, although we could have absolutely had anybody else but Tom Hanks in that role. Maybe even somebody that's actually European. But Tom Hanks got it for some reason. He wasn't distracting enough for me to not like the movie, but he was a bit of a distraction at the same time. But I still think it's a movie that you shouldn't miss because I thought the performances were great and the music is great.
Agreed, and it actually really introduced me to a lot more Elvis songs than I had heard before, so that was a good part about it too.
Same, definitely. This one I just recently saw because VU told me I had to check it out. This is a badass ass kicker of a film led by a killer female lead, Amber Midthunder. This is Prey on Hulu. Fucking awesome movie. I would watch this movie all the time if I could because it is just such a badass movie. So good. If you haven't seen it yet, fucking check it out.
Please do. It is also on my movies you can't miss of 2022 list. It is an incredible action film. She's awesome. I want to see her in all of the movies moving forward that have strong female action leads because she's just a badass.
She really was. So good. Another one on my list here that you can't miss, I know a lot of people did because it was in and out of theaters really fast. This is Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton in George Miller's 3,000 Years of Longing. Awesome fucking movie. I went just kind of on a whim. I only read like 2 sentences about what it was about, and I love both of them, and I really like George Miller's movies. And this movie was completely different than anything that I had even anticipated. The special effects were awesome. The stories were awesome. Very, very entertaining movie. It's out now on Redbox, and you can buy it. You can rent it. I will definitely grab the 4K of it because it is beautifully shot, and the acting is fantastic. It's really just them two, majority of the movie. 3,000 Years of Longing. Definitely give it a shot.
Nice.
Yes, and I know I talked about that in an earlier episode. And also on our Instagram, there is a reel that I put together of me going to the movie that day. This one I saw by myself in a small theater in the city. This is Everything Everywhere All at Once, starring Michelle Yeoh, Kei Kwan, and Jamie Lee Curtis. Another one, this was a tough one for me to put on the movies you can't miss list. It was almost on my movies you could or could not miss, but I'm putting it in the can't miss category because he's one of my favorite directors and it's about his life, and this is The Fabelmans. And the reason why I have it here is because Steven Spielberg has been an inspiration to me since I was a child, and I was always curious about his story. And I mentioned when I talked about it after having seen it for the first time, it was a very heavy family drama, which I did not anticipate, and it kind of threw me. I wasn't sure about how I would react to the family drama aspect of it. It's very heavy. It's a very heavy drama, but I really did love a lot of the nods to how Steven Spielberg got into movies and how he started editing and how, his father really only thought it was a hobby and it wasn't going to be anything else and this, that, and the other. So The Fabelmans is definitely on my you can't miss list.
Yes, and I think that his speech at the Golden Globes actually helped you understand the movie a bit more, if I remember correctly.
A little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. Again, a very enjoyable movie, but a heavy one at the same time.
Okay.
Next film that I feel you can't miss, only because I really liked the first one a lot. This is a sequel, and I really liked the sequel a lot. And I feel the only reason these movies are as good as they are, beyond the fact that the animation is spectacular, Jim Carrey is Dr. Robotnik in Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Oh my God.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is fucking awesome. It's awesome. I don't care what anybody says. It's a lot of fun. It's hilarious. The animation's gorgeous. Idris Elba as Knuckles is awesome. Just a great, great, fun movie. PG rated, completely takes you back to when you used to play Sonic the Hedgehog on Sega Genesis. And I know we mentioned before I never had a Sega Genesis, but I had friends that did, so I played Sonic quite a bit. And I really think the movie's great. And I know a lot of people also really liked both of them, so I feel like we might even get a third.
Oh, nice. And I'm loving that our lists have a good mix of genres in them. We have horror movies, we have action movies, we have kid-friendly movies. And I think it's important to have a mix of genres in these types of lists. So depending on who you are and the type of family makeup that you have, there's movies you can pick from.
Absolutely. Agreed indeed. We are coming to the end of my movies you can't miss list also. Which is interesting to me because it's been so much fun discussing these movies. This one, V, you just had on your last list, and this is on my you can't miss list because I feel that every movie that this director has written and directed so far is a can't miss movie. This is Robert Eggers' The Northman with Alexander Skarsgård, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicole Kidman, and Ethan Hawke in, as I will say this till the day I die, I think Ethan Hawke's best performance in a movie that I've seen in like the last 15 years. Just a fucking awesome movie. The research that Robert Eggers went to the lengths of is just spectacular. The authenticity of the Viking Age that this movie portrays, having Bjork in this movie as the Oracle, just a fantastic movie. Beautifully shot. It's brutal as fuck. I've seen it 3 times. I saw it twice in theaters. I have the 4K disc. I love this movie. In my opinion, it's definitely one of the best movies of 2022.
Nice, and I completely respect that opinion, and I think that it was close for me as well. Like I said, just a small problem I had with a little bit of the direction of the script, but otherwise I completely understand why you'd have that opinion. And yes, we're both fans of Robert Eggers, for sure.
Yes, indeed. Coming down to the final 3 of my most favorite movies of 2022, movies that you cannot miss. I watched this one at home, and I'm kicking myself in the ass for having not seen this movie in theaters. This was a fucking killer 3 hours of my life. This is Robert Pattinson in The Batman. Yes. Holy shit. Oh my God. Paul Dano, what a beast of a Riddler. And Colin fucking Farrell, completely transformative. There's no way that that's Colin fucking Farrell. Even looking into his eyes, I'm just like, there's no way
I can't
that
find
that's
him.
Colin Farrell.
I cannot find him in that character.
He apparently stayed in that character during the time the cameras weren't rolling as well, so people on set were losing their minds. And Matt Reeves was like, yeah, I would talk to Colin Farrell and he would answer me as the Penguin. And I'm just like, shit, like, what a badass movie. And Zoe Kravitz, woo!
Right?
Yeah, I'm down. Most definitely.
So glad you enjoyed that movie. I'm so glad it is on your movies you can't miss list. It is absolutely on mine. It is my favorite comic book movie of the year.
Nice.
Without question. And I would argue that Colin Farrell deserves a Golden Globe for that performance more than Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, his voice, his mannerisms, his everything.
The range.
Is nuts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Apparently his children were completely horrified by him in that makeup when he had them come to set, and I probably would be too. I mean,
understandable.
The moment when Jeffrey Wright, when Commissioner Gordon and Batman have the Penguin up against that bridge, and he's just like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like, he's got that like accent down so good. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "There's no fucking way."
And Robert Pattinson being cast as the Batman had very similar response when he was originally cast that Heath Ledger did when he was cast as the Joker for The Dark Knight. Lots of
I did not know that.
Pushback, lots of negative reactions, lots of people going, the Twilight guy? What are you talking about? This is a horrible casting choice.
Sure.
They said the same exact thing about Heath Ledger when he was cast. And then the movie comes out and blows everyone the fuck away with their performance. He's an incredible Batman. And I hope that with the new direction of DC, they do not shelve subsequent movies of Robert Pattinson as the Batman, because he is exceptional.
I'm down with that completely. I hope we get more Pattinson as Bruce Wayne and as Batman. I loved the costume. I loved the action. I loved the intensity, and it was dark. I even texted Juvie. He's like, "How is this not R-rated?" It felt like it was on the verge of truly being an R-rated Batman movie. I felt it was on par of Batman Returns in the disturbing aspect of it, because it really is a disturbing movie. But yeah, great fucking movie.
So glad you liked it.
Yes. And before I reveal my 2 top favorite films of 2022, V, we need your list, because we might as well end on a high note on each side, right?
Absolutely, wholeheartedly agree. And I'm going in a little bit of an order. I think you might be a bit surprised by this making the can't miss list for me. This movie had a slow start for me, but through the second half of it, I really loved it. And then I watched it again with my nieces and loved it even more. So that's why it ended up on my movies you can't miss list. This is Spirited, starring Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I thought it was one of my favorite renditions of A Christmas Carol story so far that I've seen. I've seen 3 so far. It is my favorite. And again, the songs are very catchy, unlike Pinocchio, which we discussed. And so, yeah, I think that it's a great family movie that absolutely is a can't-miss movie for families from 2022.
Sure, agreed.
My favorite Marvel movie of the year, and close second to The Batman, is the MCU's follow-up. It's a sequel, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one.
What a beautifully action-packed, emotional movie for a sequel. They did a fantastic job honoring Chadwick Boseman. I am so pumped that Angela Bassett won the Golden Globe for her portrayal as his grieving mother, and I do hope that we get to talk about her a lot more on Oscar night, so we'll see how that goes.
Neat. It is on my to-watch list of 2022.
Awesome. Yes, please do. And my next pick is one that we just discussed a little bit ago. It is on your movies you could miss list. Bullet Train. I absolutely loved it. I saw it a second time at home, and I agree with you. It was more fun in the theaters, but goddamn, what a fun ensemble cast. What a great way to wrap up all of the stories at the very end. I loved it. So yeah, that definitely was on my movie you can't miss list. And funny enough, it was the second Brad Pitt Sandra Bullock combo movie that we both watched last year. The Lost City being the first one, which is pretty funny.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to kick off our countdown to best movie of the year, in our opinion. With my number 3 best movie of the year, it is very close competition for number 2. I love this movie. It was an incredible telling of this story. It is on the shortlist in award season for Best International Film. This is All Quiet on the Western Front. So incredible. It's on Netflix right now. I highly recommend it to everyone. And it just moved me and broke my heart at the same time.
Wow. I got to check it out then.
All right, everyone. Here we are. The last 2 movies for us for the year 2022. Our number 2 picks. These might be the same. These might be different. I'm not sure yet because I haven't heard John's list. So, John, you want to kick us off with your number 2 movie of the year?
Oh, they literally are beaten to a bloody pulp, and this one lost the number 1 spot because this one came in with such a vengeance. Number 2 for me is a sequel. Oddly enough, I think both of our number 1s and 2s are sequels in a strange way. This one is a movie that V and I were very excited about. We talked about it quite a bit early on in the podcast. This is the James Cameron directed Avatar: The Way of Water, coming in at my number 2 favorite movie of 2022.
Yes, and it is my number 2 as well.
Oh, well. Look at that. It was such a good movie. I've seen it twice already. I got to go again. What
a great follow-up. A better movie than the original. The script has been improved upon. Of course, the visual effects have as well. God damn it, how much fun did we have watching that movie together?
So much, especially because we saw it in the 4DX theater with the chairs moving and the water getting sprayed at us and the rain coming down. It was just an awesome, complete, immersive experience. And the 3D is so spectacular. It feels real. It doesn't feel like you're watching motion capture.
It absolutely 100% feels real, to a point in which I was crying in the middle of the movie and had to remind myself that none of this was real.
So crazy and effective. But yeah, definitely number 2 favorite film of 2022, Avatar: The Way of Water. Just over a month it took Avatar: Way of Water to reach 2 billion internationally.
Yes, and that's kind of perfect. It is Avatar 2. It's about at $2 billion, and it is our number 2 movie of the year for both of us at Movies You Miss Podcast.
And Avatar Way of Water is quickly climbing its way up to the number 2 highest grossing film of all time.
Yes, it is. Right behind Avatar.
Right behind Avatar. Isn't that hilarious? Well, that's number 2, and I think I know, and I think our audience at this point knows what both of our number 1 pick of 2022 is. V, do you want to kick the tires and light the fires on that?
I'm ready to go into the danger zone.
Hey! And if that doesn't give anybody a clue, V, why don't you tell them what it is?
I have a need to talk about this movie. I have a need to give it as much praise as I possibly can because I always and forever will have a need for speed. This is the Tom Cruise-led Top Gun Maverick.
Excellent. My number 1 pick as well.
Awesome!
Top Gun Maverick.
Yes!
Tom Cruise. Tom fucking Cruise.
God, what a great movie.
So awesome.
And I will say there's a couple reasons why it is my number 1 movie of the year versus Avatar 2. And one of them is it really has transcended audiences from all political spectrums, genders, ages. Everyone can watch this movie and absolutely love it. And that, for me, along with the storyline, the action, the realism, and just the amount of times I want to watch this movie is why it was the number 1 movie of the year for me.
Nice. I went opening day in IMAX and immediately texted you after. I went about another week later, and then I didn't see it for a third time in the theater, which I should have, but I didn't. But now I have it on 4K, so I have it at home with me always.
From me?
Yeah, and from you, yes, of course. I think that both of these movies reached the worldwide audience that they were hoping for, and it really shows that not only in the box office, the fact that Top Gun was in theaters, I think, for like 6 months, and that hadn't happened in years with a movie. I think that both of these movies are literally for everybody. There's comedy, there's romance, there's sadness, there's every human emotion that you can feel in a movie in both of these movies. And not only is that a testament to everything you're seeing on screen, that just means that cinema is still alive and well in the world, and that just makes me very happy.
Wholeheartedly agree, and once again, thank you to Tom Cruise for holding off on releasing this movie until everyone could go back in the theaters, because this was originally slated for a 2020 release, and thank God he had the power and wherewithal to hold off so we could all get this theater experience. And it is the movie I've seen most times in the theater, which is another reason why it had to be my number 1 of the year, because what else than the movie that drew me back to the theater that many times?
Absolutely, yes. That, like I said, that's a testament to itself. That's great.
Alrighty, and that is our ranking of movies from 2022. John, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about the box office? Though I don't think we need to play the game this time for it.
No, we do not. Although, interestingly enough, there's domestic and there's worldwide.
Yes.
Worldwide box office, highest grossing film of 2022. What do you think it was, V? Was it Top Gun or was it Avatar?
I still think it was Top Gun for worldwide.
Worldwide was Avatar.
Shit!
Beating it by $500 million.
Oh my
God! Avatar, in less than a month. Less than a month, pulled in $1.9 billion in less than 30 fucking days to be the highest grossing worldwide box office film of 2022. Now, the highest grossing domestic box office of 2022, what do you think that one is, V?
Top Gun Maverick.
Avatar 2.
God
no,
damn
I'm kidding. Yes, it was Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
No, it was Top Gun Maverick. No, domestically, Top Gun Maverick took the top prize for box office of 2022, bringing in $718 million. Number 2 was Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Number 3 was the Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange movie.
Bummer. Number
4, in only 2.5 weeks, number 4, scratching the top 5, Avatar: The Way of Water, $401 million in literally 2.5 weeks domestically here in the United States.
Jesus.
Number 5, we won't even mention. Number 6, we won't mention either. Number 7 was The Batman, at 369 million. No, I'll go back to number 5 and 6. Number 5 was Jurassic World Dominion. Number 6 was The Rise of Gru, the Minions movie.
The
number
fact
8,
that they were higher than the Batman makes me so angry.
I know, so lame.
My God.
Very, very lame. Number 8 was Thor: Love and Thunder. Terrible. 343 million. Number 9 was Spider-Man: No Way Home at 231. Number 10 was Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And then the rest, were number 27 was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Number 25 was Scream, the one that you enjoyed so much. Death on the Nile was number 36. The Menu was number 42.
Okay.
Yeah, Beast was number 46. The Northman was number 44. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent was number 53. The Fablemans was number 67. Strange. Number 77 was See How They Run, and number 78 was a movie that I actually completely forgot about. So there's that. Maybe that should have been on my list. The Matrix Resurrections.
Completely
forgot I saw that movie. Completely forgot I saw that movie.
Oh wait, no,
I
that
remember
was
liking
that
it.
came out in December of 2021, so it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah. Number 85 was 3,000 Years of Longing, so that scratched the top 100, which is awesome. And number 100 highest grossing film of 2022 since it came out in November, I believe, was The Whale. So yeah, that is 2022. Top Gun Maverick, domestic box office, Avatar Way of Water, worldwide box office highest grossing film of 2022. And what a fun episode this was. I had a lot of fun discussing the movies that we hated and that we thought were okay and that we really loved. And our number 1 and 2 spot were the same, so I thought that was very awesome.
That was very fun. I agree with you. I also really enjoyed this episode. I hope our audience did too. Please let us know. This is a very different episode for us, and it's the first time we've ever done it, so please feel free to give us some feedback or your thoughts on how this episode went. And I love that our opinions were a bit different in some of these, and I think that's great because it gives our audience even more movies to pick from since we didn't have the same lists.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of this podcast.
And our friendship.
And our friendship, indeed. So much fun.
So much fun. And that about wraps us up for our 2022 recap episode.
Yes, it does.
Do you want to tell our audience what we plan on doing next week since it's a bit of a turn?
It is a bit of a turn, yeah. We are going to go down the guilty pleasure route, and I have chosen a movie that I know not many people have seen. I saw this movie in theaters. The only reason I saw this movie in theaters was because of a certain actor that's in it. Will Arnett is in this movie. This is also starring Kristen Bell and Josh Duhamel, Angelica Houston, John Heder, Danny DeVito. This is a movie called When in Rome, a very cheeseball romantic comedy that puts a smile on my face every time I watch it. So you can rent When in Rome on any streaming service, Amazon, Vudu, Redbox, Apple, for $3.99 if you feel like following along with us. Again, it's a guilty pleasure movie. Don't expect anything other than cheesiness in When in Rome. You're not going to get anything other than that. But it's a great time.
Yes, this is our Guilty Pleasure Rom-Com Edition episode. And as I mentioned a bit earlier, my pick for next week is the J-Lo Owen Wilson-led Marry Me that came out last year. I have watched this more than 3 times and listened to the soundtrack repeatedly. For some reason, this movie just got me. I know it's not great. That's okay. It is my guilty pleasure rom-com, and you can watch it right now if you have a Peacock subscription.
Awesome. That is where I'll be watching it. My wife has watched this movie. She enjoyed it very much, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, well, that about wraps up our episode. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. You can follow us at Movies You Miss Pod on all social media and reach out to our email, moviesyoummisspod@gmail.com. Let us know what your favorite movie of 2022 was.
I would love to know what our listeners thought of our lists and what their opinions were on some of our choices, and definitely what their favorite movies of 2022 were. Do fill us in, please.
And with that, we like to close out with film is a form of art, and in all art, every opinion is valid, except if you think
the Golden Globes are a precursor to the Oscars.
It is not an end-all be-all predictor, that is true.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, they won the Golden Globe, they won the Oscar. Like, no, not always. The thing about the Oscars and the Golden Globes is there's 2 different movie categories. So there's Best Actor Musical Comedy, Best Actor Drama.
Right.
You know, so it's very interesting how they do that at the Golden Globes. And then at the Oscars, there's 5 nominated.
And they're also completely different voting bodies that everybody needs to remember.
Right,
Same
right.
with the other award shows. And some years, the SAG Awards are actually more of a predictor than Oscars. You really
Very true.
don't know until Oscars night.
Very true.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until next week, bye-bye.
Cheers, everybody.